guys, we're live. Look at that.
Hey.
Hi, everyone.
Oh my God.
I love it.
I can't. You guys.
Another
Hey.
episode of PRM Chats.
Okay, I got my notification. Yes. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Happy Saturday. It is Saturday, October 23rd, and live and uncut is your PRM Chat. And we are the Project Presidency Movement Board. So, guys, if you're watching and you're just coming in, please say hello. Let us know that you're there. Also, please share. Please tag a friend. Please share with all your groups. Invite someone to the conversation. Today we are discussing, it being October, the seasons are changing. But with the seasons changing, should our SoulCare change as well? So that's the question that we're going to discuss today. And we hope that you'll enjoy this conversation with us. So again, get someone in here that is going through some stuff, and they just need to hear this conversation about what change looks like. And is it good or is it bad? But where do they feel like they need to be? So all that being said, in my mind, when I was thinking of this, how they say, we can learn something from the fall, how the leaves fall, and it's a sign of cleansing, right? Because that's what we're going through. That's where I want to go with this conversation. So, what should I got to say? What
What a timely topic as we prepare for our autumn cleanse.
Shameless plug. Shameless plug. Look, nothing right this second. Yes.
Yeah. So, I definitely believe that this is definitely a time for things to fall off, right? For things to for us to release and let go of the things, for us to purge things. As we're getting ready to kind of like push through and channel through to the last quarter of the year. Like we're in the last quarter of the year, but like the last 2 months of the year, to really attain and achieve those things that we set as manifestations, right? In the beginning of the year, we still have time. So I think sometimes we're like, oh, by the time you get to this point of the year, you're like, your mojo and your flow of and your gusts in terms of like wanting to get things done and moving and manifestations, wanting to accomplish and attain and achieve something, you kind of slow down and it's like, oh, let me just get ready for the holidays, and you get into that relaxation mode, and you kind of get lethargic, right? And the energy levels kind of go down. So all those things kind of happen this year. So it's a great time for cleansing. It's a great time to detox. It's a great time to really look back into your inner man and in your inner space and say, okay, what needs to let go of it or kind of get rid of to kind of push me through to this last 2 months of the year and get the things I need to get done.
And I think, it's interesting when we think about the seasons changing, when we think about fall going into winter, as I'm sitting here, I'm thinking about, okay, fall is happening, the leaves are falling off, the grass is withering away, and then we're going to go into this season of intense cold. Everything is covered, everything is like frozen. And then after that, there is this beautiful era of blossoming. But imagine if none of the leaves fell away. Imagine we didn't have that time, that period of things just kind of frozen in time for a little bit. Imagine we didn't have that. It would just be building one on top of the other. Imagine how messy that would look.
Yes.
Imagine how uncomfortable that would look. And so I think that a lot of times we do that with ourselves. When we talk about should your SoulCare change, I think we always need to kind of go back and shift our thought patterns. But a lot of times we do that with ourselves. We don't think about what needs to fall away. We don't think about being frozen in this time just for a little bit. So you can think about what's coming in the new year and prepare for the new year, right? And so what we do is, because we don't do that, there's this piling on. Mm-hmm. And we go into the new year with stuff that we are not supposed to be going into the new year with. There's a time and season for everything. So when I think about, when I was thinking about this morning about, does my SoulCare change? Has my SoulCare changed? Mine definitely is, because I'm thinking about what can I let fall away that no longer serves me. And lately I've really been thinking about, and I heard Tiffany tell me this all the time when we first met, when you're feeling a certain way, sit in the emotions for a little bit. So I've really been thinking about being frozen in time and not rushing through or powering through this like I normally would. Because when I had this moment of let things fall away and being frozen in this time, I can think about what my next year is going to look like. And with my own soul care, it is who is no longer serving me? What is no longer serving me? If I feel like I am not making connection somewhere, let me sit in that for a second. Let me kind of just be frozen in this time for a second and really look at that. And are you taking care of yourself the way you should be? Things have to shift. I love this analogy when I always say to people, right now we're all wearing fall clothes because it's cold outside. But imagine if we were here in summer clothes, y'all would be like, okay, them girls are crazy because it's summertime and they're gonna get sick and they're gonna get frostbite, all these different things because we're bringing something that's not supposed to be in this season, right?
And it's also the preventative measures too. So it's like I'm doing this to prevent myself from being in a situation where my immunity is at risk, right? So it's like, so it's the preventative measure. So like you dress warm because you don't, you know what I mean? Like, because you don't want to catch a cold, or you don't want to make yourself, be placed in a position where you are sick. So it's like, like you're doing these things as a preventative measure as well as protecting your immunity.
Well, what I'm going to say is you can't, to find out what I'm going to say is you cannot bring one season, you can always bring one season into the next. Mm-hmm. And as we are entering into this season, I start to think about what I cannot bring from that season into this season.
So it's that shift, right?
Yes.
It's that shift that you're talking about. And I think that two things that you said that struck a ring in the head. One is about the idea of that pause. We are not comfortable sitting still sometimes. Sometimes when that thing is in front of you and you're in the midst of that pain or that chaos or that disappointment, that shame, that embarrassment, what often comes up for me that I see a lot in the season is, here we are, 3/4 way through, right? End of the year is coming. Look at how much time has gone by already and what I didn't accomplish yet. I don't have enough time left this year to accomplish blank. Or it's I gotta hurry up and finish this, and this because we only got this much time left, and now I gotta barrel through and do such and such. But we're not coming from the place of stillness. We're not coming from a place of pause. We're coming from that place of expectation, and we're coming from that idea of here's what I didn't accomplish that I should have, or what I wanted to accomplish and didn't. And so then there's that steam falls away, or you get hyperfixated and you're not paying attention to what's necessary to move forward. So I think that it comes back to what you were talking about, that pause, evaluating where am I really? What do I still need to do to get to where I want to be? Mm-hmm. And frankly, has it changed? Because we think about, like, I'm not a big fan of New Year's resolutions. I don't really vibe with that word.
I stopped years ago because it's better to just work with goals and set small goals so that way you can accomplish them, right?
Exactly. Resolutions feel to me very punitive, and they feel like a breeding ground for shame, for doubt, and for disappointment. So I wherever possible, I'm like, oh, okay, so you have a goal. Let's talk about that. And that's the thing. But where we are right now in the year, it's the perfect opportunity to reevaluate what is necessary moving forward, because there is still enough time to put certain things in place to set yourself up for successful 2022. There is still enough time to course correct things that maybe didn't go according to quote unquote plan, right? But that doesn't mean that because it didn't go according to plan, there's not still value in it. So that thing that you're talking about, getting still and pausing and evaluating, reflecting, that's the first step between now and the quote unquote end of the year, because we like these mile markers, right? To really be able to take stock and ownership of here's what I can do. There's a whole heck of a lot of things going on that I have zero control over, and that's all fine, well and good. But using those steps that you're talking about and that perspective and that mindset, you can still absolutely put things in place to be where you want to be around the people that you want to be around, to put your energy into the things that will feed you, not on somebody else's expectations. Hello, Thanksgiving dinner. Hello, Christmas gatherings. Hello, how much money we gonna spend on Christmas gifts?
I hate it all.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I should be happy.
So honestly,
honestly, I'm a skipper over holiday.
Yeah.
Like, so if there was a button you could press to skip over, if there's a button you could press to skip over it all, and the commercial
I want you to put that on a Facebook post. I'm a
I
skipper
said-
over holiday.
Over holiday.
I want you to put that on a Facebook post. Honestly, I'm a skipper over holiday.
if there's a button I could press to skip over it all, I think I would. It's not because I'm a Grinch. It's just more so the commercialization of it all, the misintention of it all. You know, like the being caught up in the hype of the performance of it all. You know what I mean? Like, and I think we missed the mark on really what it's all about.
And you know what? To your point, that really is soul care. We're not talking about we have beat self care down to the ground. We have it is at this point we have beat it to everybody. Okay, but soul care is what is feeding my soul, and that no longer feeds my soul.
That's
you know,
Be honest about it.
yeah. And I think that's a great point for soul care.
But that's why I love even the way you phrase this live. Should our soul care change? Yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
Your soul care needs to change if you
Can I
are.
interrupt you real quick?
Please.
If you guys are just joining us, we're sitting here talking about our seasons changing. Okay, you know, the fall is here, and unfortunately, a lot of us are still stuck on yesterday instead of moving forward on what is today looks like, so we can do it better tomorrow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. But should our soul care change? And you know, like Tiffany just said, yes or no. So I hope you guys are tuning in, taking notes. But in the meantime, please say hi. Let us know that you're here. Also, please share this. Tag someone that needs to have this conversation with themselves, because I know a lot of us are thinking, and a lot of us are stuck in a place where we don't seem to feel like we can get out of it. But I'm quite sure you just need a little bit of like gem shock, and we can all go through. So look, join the conversation, guys. Tiffany, go ahead.
I think that the answer to that question, should it change, is yes and no, under specific circumstances. Yes, your soul care must change if you have been in the pattern of sacrificing yourself and your soul for the exclusive benefit of others.
Yeah.
Okay, so it must change.
Yes.
However, if you have come recently into the season of putting your self-care front and center, and you have become comfortable using the word no, or you're still developing your boundaries, you should not be looking at changing that, because you need to be refortifying that. So no, it doesn't change if you're on the path to recognizing that my time matters, my soul matters, my needs matter. Stay on that course, because right about now, holiday gatherings, commercialization, demands on your time, demands on your finances, demands on your energy. All of that is coming.
I like Switch.
She's
No,
like,
the demands on my finances.
It's the demands on the finances.
That was true. My whole soul was like, soul care. We're not sacrificing our finances. I feel my soul screaming.
We're not. We're saying no to things.
I'm just going to be a Grinch, so I don't fall prey to the pressures that the world has placed upon me. No, we're not doing all that.
But I challenge though. See, Hillary, here's the thing. I hear you using the word Grinch as, everybody knows what that word means. So we know what it's associated with.
Right.
But obviously that's a bad thing in and of itself. It's not about like being a Grinch the way it's been commercialized, even in Dr. Seuss. Like, it's not I don't care about holidays, I don't care about people. It's about, I care enough about myself, my growth, my family, my structure, to not be influenced by, yanked left and right, and taken off task by all of this chaos that's coming on in the name of religion, in the name of Christmas, in the name of established holidays, in the name of family traditions that you didn't start, don't agree with, and don't feed your soul.
Yes.
In the name of,
are not in alignment with your own personal values, thoughts, beliefs, and all of that.
And I think so. When I would like to where we at? Oh, I would like to have. I would also. So if we're going to talk about self-care and soul care at that time, okay, we're doing good. Lately, what I have really been thinking about is the self-preservation, especially for women of color who take on so much, and sometimes we do it because we feel like it's just ingrained in us to do. So we all have to take a step back and say, you know what, that is not my thing anymore. That's not my issue anymore. You know what I mean? And so when we talk about like soul care, it really is a self-preservation, especially if you think about Black women, the leading cause of our issues, our health issues, stress, heart issues.
Yes.
And it's because, from someone who has dealt with it, is because we're taking on too much and we're not doing what makes our soul happy. Why? Because what makes our soul happy will often not make everybody else happy.
You'll disappoint somebody else.
And you have to get to the point where you can say, see, this is what we're not going to do. And really handle what makes your soul happy.
In the same essence, I've been thinking about what real success looks like. So, like the same way you've been thinking about self-preservation, I've been thinking about what real success looks like. Right. And for me, I found myself shifting my whole dynamic around what success looks like.
Yeah.
Success looks like for me to have joy, peace, and happiness that's purely from within. Success looks like for me to be really fulfilled within my own God-given identity. You know what I'm saying? And be comfortable with that. You know? And not necessarily looking at what the Joneses or the Roses or whoever is, you know, whatever is blooming around me. You know what I mean? Because it's not for me, that's for them. You know what I mean? And so be comfortable with what's for me in my season, in my time, and know that mine will come when it's supposed to. You know what I'm saying? So that for me, I've kind of like redefined that whole idea of what success was. And since I've redefined that for myself, I find that I'm in a so happy place.
And you know what? The beauty of that approach is that regardless of what is happening around you, you can still find sure footing. You can still feel stable. You can still be at peace in the midst of all that chaos, all that angst,
right?
Whether it's a flat tire, whether it's arguing with the boss, whether it's a kid that's out of whack, whether it's an unexpected expense, all of that stuff's gonna keep on happening. That stuff's gonna happen,
right?
And I used this analogy just recently with somebody where it was, you have got to become so defensive of your peace. It's like walking in the eye of the storm. So like that storm, you got cows and roofs and debris flying all around you 360 degrees. But when you look up from the eye of the storm, you see clear sky and sun. And that's the scientific thing. Look it up. Y'all look it up. If you're in the middle of that thing and you shift when the storm shifts, you can't be rigid. You have to be flexible. You have to say, okay, is this serving me or not? Okay, I'm going to adjust.
Right.
If it is serving me and it's time for me to shift a little bit to meet it, then I shift a little bit. So when that storm shifts, you shift. And everything can still be going on around you, and you can still look up and see clear skies.
Blue skies.
Yeah.
Blue skies.
I call it aggressively protecting your peace, aggressively protecting it, because
at all costs.
Understand there's nothing wrong with a little aggression. Because it's your peace.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, not to cut you off, Shamar, but at the end of the day, what people have to understand is, you know, I keep hearing be someone's peace. No one can be your own peace. No one can be your peace.
Be your own peace.
You
Let's redefine that. Research that whole sentence right there. Be your own peace.
Let me go into the new season with that mentality. Can we leave someone expecting someone to be their peace? Their peace.
You got your be your own peace. Be your own. Everybody's responsible for their own, right?
That really triggered me because that really triggered me because if you have
the child that has something,
if you have your own peace, then no one needs to come in and beat your peace. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because then you
be happy and whole within yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Be a whole unit within yourself.
And while
you can
and the soul care part to that, yes, you have to aggressively defend it, because when you find that level of peace, your love is different, and it's not about stuff. Your body, your energy, your eyes, everything glows a different way when you're at peace in the midst of chaos. And people don't understand it. If they're not on this journey with you, they're like, how are you going through? What you been doing? What program you with? You know, what church you join?
Right.
No. You have to then be like, okay, first of all, boundaries.
Yes. Yep. That's that last conversation we had last month. Yep.
We're not talking about 100% access. If you would also like to know how to achieve this piece, I can tell you how I got here, but I can also tell you it ain't pretty. It's a fight.
And
every day.
And one thing I have to put out there when we're talking about SoulCare is the release of guilt. I saw something, you know, I just say get myself in trouble because I shared the broadcast out. And I know some folks that watch this broadcast has to say, I always say, you know, my favorite thing, y'all can pull up anytime. But I was watching this thing where they were like, oh, there's this meme that I'm very big on. You do not cross oceans, people who will only jump puddles for you. And someone said to me, you're, you know, part of you being in ministry and what you do is you are supposed to cross oceans no matter what. And I said, please leave the guilt at the door because I'm not going to let anyone treat me like a little red thing around the bologna that we throw away. Okay? And
what
you have to get like imagery. Thank you. You like that? And literally just get out of nowhere. And the reality is, just because you are the leader of your family, just because, and I'm going to go there, just because you're the leader of your family, I'm in ministry, we all lead different things. It does not mean that you need to feel guilty for preserving your soul, preserving your peace, preserving your mental health. That's not what this means here, okay? So release that guilt of oh, you're supposed to be doing everything X, Y, and Z because of your title. The title is a title. I put that right down at any given point in time. It means I get to have my soul at ease and at peace. And that's what it has to mean. You know, I'm also the oldest in my family. I tell you what, y'all here, oh, you're supposed to do this, says who and where and why and how.
But wouldn't you also say that some of that has to do with the seasons changing? I don't mean literal seasons. I mean that the mother, and yes, I was a mother at 20, but that's a different show. Saying the mother I was at 20 is different than the mother I was at 30.
Exactly.
It's different than the mother I was at 40. And it's hell going to be different than the mother I am at 50 on, because I will no longer.
You're evolving too. It's progress.
So subscribe to what motherhood is supposed to look like. Right. It's what it is.
Y'all hear that?
I will not subscribe.
And that's
Don't buy into the hype. Like y'all, don't buy into the hype of what you know when they put it on here.
Yeah, but also go a little deeper. Back to what anything is supposed to really look like.
Yes.
I can't give my best if I'm all over the place. And I 100% feel like part of my SoulCare lately has been, no, I will not show up just because you call me. You think I'm gonna show up, right? You think I'm supposed to show up? I think to think not.
No.
And how? I think to think not. This is where we are right here. And so, how is anything supposed to look? Where I always say to people, where the rules look at? You point out to me where it is. I'm probably gonna break it anyway because that's just who I am. I pride myself on breaking rules, but there is no rule to any of this. And you got to find what makes your soul happy within reason. Obviously, do it healthy and be at peace. But you got to smile what makes you so happy and let go of these.
You can't be out here talking about you living your best authentic life and being fake behind masks. It just doesn't go
And
together.
that's across the
It
board.
just
It's
doesn't
like,
go together.
oh, you're dating this type of person because of how they look, what their title is, what people expect you to hook up with. You want to live in this specific, you live in a certain type of place because that's what is expected of you. You dress a certain kind of way.
From me.
Like, whose expectations? And to your point about guilt, there's two major points of guilt. Guilt that you accept that's put on you from other people. They just say, well, you know, I needed this and you that, and it can be external, but you can also have that internal guilt where ain't nobody said it, and here you go. Yeah, but I got this. Yeah, but I got this. Nobody said anything. Like, where's all that coming from?
And I think that generational guilt. That generational guilt is real.
That generational guilt is
what you saw in the past, how they manage things in a different world.
Right.
It's a different set of rules because society is different, money is definitely different, relationships are different. We have a whole different social construct, and here at newsflash, you're a different person.
Facts.
So your desires are
Tiffany.
I'm
sorry. That just rung home for me. I'm sorry. It's real. Okay. Wow. Okay.
Okay. What is what are people saying?
Let me tell you.
What do people say?
So, we're still, obviously people are still trying to come on in, but Kate did say she haven't learned to be, she says, I haven't learned to be my own peace, let alone his. Well, Kate, to reiterate, you cannot be his peace. That is not your responsibility.
That's your responsibility.
It's not your responsibility to be anyone's peace but your own. But how can we tell Kate to, move so that way she can understand how to move to be her own peace?
I
Would you do that?
I'd start by saying, I remember a time where I really had to find what my peace was. I was coming out of my divorce, and I realized one of my patterns was I found peace in being attached to other people and always giving to other people. So a part of me finding peace, which may help you, is I really shut down what's happening around me. I really took a good amount of time learning myself, spending time with myself, having fun with myself. I still do this, y'all. Taking myself on massage, taking myself on dates, taking myself on trips. Really dating myself, and I did that because I realized I was so attached to people because I wasn't at peace with myself. So I forced myself to deal with me so I could be at peace with me, if that makes sense. And it really is a couple moments of I feel uncomfortable. I want to call somebody, but no, let me sit here.
Sit with it.
But wouldn't you also say, oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. Wouldn't you also say part of that was rediscovering who even you is? Like when I was in that place that you're describing, I didn't even know what my favorite food was.
Same.
I didn't know what my favorite TV show was.
I didn't know how
I
to dress.
to go somewhere. What would I wear?
Yes.
Where would I go? Because
Can you
it was
raise hands, people, if you
about like who was I to other people?
Right.
While I'm with this person or while I'm with
You're
this
so
group.
busy orbiting around other people's planets.
And then I
right?
had to figure out
Spend
what I want. Like, what even are my favorite things? What do I like to do when I'm alone? What am I going to do with 4 hours of uninterrupted time where nobody's asking me for anything?
Facts.
And can I just say, in the beginning, and even still now, that say you're sitting here for 3 hours and you're like, okay, I'm just sitting here. What am I doing? It's okay to just sit there. I had to learn at the very beginning. I was like, I'm just sitting here. I want to do something. It's okay to just sit here. I watched this really great movie, and it's called War Room. And this woman was sitting up her prayer closet. When the first time she got in there, she just sat there like, okay, what am I supposed to do? But she would just go there every day, just sit, and just sit, and just sit. And then eventually she learned what to say, how to pray, what to do. But it all came from just going and just sitting.
Yeah. What I found in the book I'm reading, an amazing book called Bury Your Ordinary. And what it talks about is the biggest part of Bury Your Ordinary is shifting your patterns and creating new ones. So it's like, what patterns do you need to unpack from yourself? And then like what patterns and habits, habitual habits do you need to create that's going to get you closer to burying the ordinary parts of yourself and discovering the extraordinary parts of yourself. You know what I mean? Like, and one of the things I had to do, honestly, was just do exactly what she's talking about. It's like really be comfortable just in silence with myself, being alone with myself. No white noise, no background music, nothing to distract me from me, but just sitting with me, resonating with me, and the feelings that came up and resonating in those feelings, and really kind of like making sure that I saturated myself with myself for a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't gonna lie, I know.
And it was uncomfortable. It was super uncomfortable.
But I think I'm narcissistic for that.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, narcissistic.
Let me tell you something.
For that. Yes, sir. And I was just like, wow, you're literally calling me a narcissist because I love myself? Like, wouldn't you want me to love myself like this?
Let me tell you,
somebody else's damage.
Can I tell you why that doesn't trigger me anymore? I have been told I am too sure of myself, too confident, a narcissist, too need to humble, all of these different things. I say the same thing every single time. And I said at your event, I'm too full of myself. I say all the time, I wish you would be more full of yourself so you can stop being so full of me and mind your business. Because here's the thing, I thought about this just last night. You know how much it takes to come out of a dark hole? How much work it takes? And many people don't make it. I just saw a Facebook post of a young mother. Her last post was, I can't do this anymore. I'm checking out. If I'm successful at this, make sure my kids are okay. Guess what? Wow. She was successful at it. She killed herself. You know how many people don't make out of that hole? Yes. So you mean to tell me that I don't have a right to be like, yes, I'm this and I'm that, and I feel good about myself after surviving what I have survived? You must have lost your ever-loving mind.
But the thing about it, I think sometimes people don't understand that when you actually get to that point and you're saying those things, it's because you have survived certain things that you're saying, I'm thriving, I've come out of this, and I'm gonna celebrate that, and I'm gonna keep celebrating that until it makes you sick. And unfortunately, it probably does make you sick, but I'm going to keep celebrating me and the fact that I've come out of that. You get what I'm saying? This isn't to understand what you have gone through to come out
Throw
of
some
it.
hearts up out there because I know y'all.
And can I tell you, and let me just add this in there also. When you think about what your soul needs that. Your soul needs to feel that it's just as important as you make everyone as you make everyone else. And so I always say, you can call me what you like as long as I'm at peace with myself. You can say whatever you want to say, because really it's a reflection. I have learned this. The only people who come at me like that are people who are not comfortable with themselves. And so what they see in me, they wish they could do.
It's the crabs in the bell syndrome for me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what that is.
And so what I have learned with my own,
no, I'm not coming back in the bell.
And what I have learned with my own soul, like I would say about 2018, 2019, what I've learned after going through that, what I've learned that my soul needs is to be who it is no matter what. So if you think I'm too full of myself, you think I'm too ambitious, you think I'm too confident, you can think that all you want to. As long as me and my soul got a little thing going on, as long as we good, then that is where it needs to be. And this is also let go of those ideologies.
Oh,
please. That we have. Let go of those ideologies. Please. And stop. Oh, I'm going somewhere I should not go.
Go.
Okay.
I
was thinking about this the other day. Many of our fan base are in churches. Okay, you all know me. You all know I'm a minister. Many of our fan base are in churches. Okay, I'm not a minister that was kicked out of places. I'm about to do it again. I'm gonna say it again. Okay, here goes the text. Okay, the ideologies that are placed. When I went that, it was all from churches where I was not humble enough. I was too overly confident. I want to say this to you: let go of the ideologies of what you should be as a woman, by people around you, and systems that were created by men in the first place. Preach, okay? Let go of those ideologies and be who it is that you are. No one should be telling you how you should be growing, what you should be doing. That simply should not be happening. And I always put it like this. Yeah, and I always put it to you like this. And I always tell women this. People hate when I do this. If you find yourself stuck in those structures, because that gets my soul all worked up. The minute I do, I'll pull back in a second. I've always found that at the end of the day, you were created not to be a doormat. You were created not to be below anybody. Literally, it's biblical. You are above and not beneath. You are the head and not the tail. So you were never created to be someone that is stepped on and that all these different things are placed on. You're not a trash receptacle or a martyr. You're never supposed to be that. That was already done for you. You're never supposed to be that. So I think it's time that we get to the point where if our soul is screaming, you can do this. It's time we do this. We follow our soul and be that, and know that it's okay.
It is okay.
Oh,
it's all right.
I don't know what happened.
Can I loop on this just a little bit?
Come on, loop on it.
From what you said, and then that one word that you just pulled up, that martyr. Let me tell you what. There is no tighter prison than the one you built for yourself.
That man. That's it right there.
You have to deal with if your self-worth has been defined by who you have decided to be for others. And I am saying that from a place of experience. Okay, I gotta do this. I gotta do this for them so that they know I have them. I have to finish it. I have to be this kind of parent. I have to be this kind of wife. If I don't have, 7 days worth of hot food, 3 meals a day on the table, then I'm not this.
Right.
And then when you look at your family, and this is really important, some of the conflict that we put in our relationships is self-inflicted. We will do for them and then turn around and resent them because they don't appreciate it. They didn't thank us for it. They don't know what all we go through. I didn't slave for this many hours over this meal.
The sacrifices
I made for you and this family. But who asked you to?
Right, you got possible woman cave.
And by you, I mean me, because Been there did that.
Yeah.
My family, when I tell you, when I released the shackles of what kind of mother I was supposed to be, actually started spending more time with what do they need? What do they actually need? I was less stressed. I laughed more. I enjoyed of my time, in a heartbeat, I will go get a massage for myself. I will go window shopping for shoes, even if I don't buy anything. I will go take a walk to the park. Whereas before, I might have been like, no, I can't do any of those things because I got to scrub this house top to bottom. No, you know what? I can delegate some things. And guess what? Some things might be dirty for a day or two.
And let me just say, some of that stuff that you're saying right now is tied to heavy tradition. Heavy tradition, the weight of heaviness in tradition. So, you know, that's passed down from generation to generation. If you need to show up this way as a mother, you need to show up this way as a wife, you need to show up this way, you know what I mean? Like, as a church member, you need to show up this, like all these hats that you are wearing, and a lot of them are tied to tradition, and not necessarily, you know what I mean, like, you know,
in no way.
Anything other than tradition.
And in no way am I saying don't aspire. That's not the takeaway here. I'm not saying don't aspire to be the best that you can be. I am saying aspire to your best and then accept grace.
Thank you.
Give yourself grace.
When it doesn't hit your expectations.
Oh my God.
Your expectations are going to be the killer for you.
They will kill you. People die from that.
The quote that I put in here, Aisha, I said, don't cross oceans for people who would not jump puddles for you. That is, I put that quote in there. Do not cross oceans for people who would not even jump a puddle for you. And I said that because we were taught, oh, you go the extra mile anyway, you do it anyway. No, I'm tired. Actually,
and as you know what it is, as Black women, as women of color, we do not say that enough. We do not say in the space of what we're feeling in the moment that we're feeling it and saying, right now I'm exhausted. And I'm not going to be showing up in that life, holding that hat, holding that demand to myself, or allow you to hold that demand to me.
And you can find a whole lot of ways to say no. I'm at my capacity. Thank you for thinking of me, but I'm just not available for that. Oh, let me get back to you. Okay, thank you, but can't do it this time.
Right.
You have to get comfortable with setting boundaries. And here's the thing: when you set boundaries, they are going to be tested.
Facts.
Oh my God.
And they're only as strong as you reinforce them.
And I always tell people, don't nobody care. I always tell people, I tell this to my clients too, don't nobody care about your boundaries.
Nope.
They sure don't.
Sure don't.
Don't nobody care about your little boundaries. You got to care about your boundaries. Nobody care about your boundaries.
People are quick to say how selfish, you know, we are as people when we're investing in self. But people also forget that. Turn it around. How would you like it if I overstep my boundaries to you? How would you like it if I stop you from being happy? How would you like it if I told you that your self-care means nothing to me? How would you like it if, just turn that question back around, and if you know you might feel some type, treat others like you want to be treated. That is the number one golden rule. I in my opinion, that God gave us. That works for me.
So something you said right there about, and bring it back to the soul care piece. Very often, that's not how it comes at you.
No.
It doesn't come at you square. It doesn't come at you as an adversary. It doesn't come at you in a confrontation. It sometimes comes at you sweetly.
Very subtle.
Very.
That imposition on your boundary will be from someone who is very kind, with a smile. You do me a favor.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I got myself into a bind, and I know you're so good at such and such. Can you just? So you have to be aware that some of these things aren't going to be obvious obstacles. Sometimes you are just going to have to figure out what is best for me, regardless of the source of where it's coming from. Your approach has to be the same. That you hold that boundary sweetly and in truth and in love, if it's a confrontation or if it's coming from a sweet place. Because at the end of the day, even if they're asking you sweetly to dissolve a boundary, you're still the one who's taking the hit.
Right.
Yeah, you're still the one that will have that can say yes or no.
I talked about, I think on a previous PRM chat, the fact that sometimes I used to have like 5-6 events on any given Saturday.
Last month.
Right. Any given Saturday, maybe 5-6 events. And what I found myself doing was like to appease everybody and to make sure that I was showing support for everyone across the board. I would go to 10 minutes for this one, 20 minutes for that one. Maybe spend half an hour with that one, end the day with that, right?
Not road time.
Not even think about road time, going from like all dress time, all parts of the state here. here, there,
Yeah.
everywhere, right? And then you get to the end of the day, and I was completely depleted, completely exhausted, and then wondering, why am I in this position? Why is nobody seeing the sacrifice that I'm doing? Where I'm doing 10 minutes, I'm showing up, and then you turn around and be like, what about me? What's it showing for me? It wasn't working. It was distorted. It was the thinking that if I did all of this, people would see it, right? Value it in the same way, and in the same way, in the same word, and also show up for me in the same light. And it did not. When I say it worked out nothing like that.
And here you are in the ground. Yeah,
Right.
all that there.
Right.
She sure was a good.
She sure was a good one, killing myself to be there and everywhere, here, there, and everywhere.
But again, I hope you guys understand the moral of the story is you control what it is that you allow people to do. You have the power to say yes or no. And okay, hey guys, I see you guys popping in. Aisha says, she says something. She says, I'm having trouble with no.
Say no, right?
And I believe we addressed that a lot just now within this conversation. Aisha, so I hope you took away some jewels.
And you know what? When I
Yes.
didn't have the power to say no, I started with just saying I have an appointment that I can't break.
Woo.
And nobody had to know the appointment was me.
With you.
Yes.
Right? I just, thank you for the invitation. I have a previous engagement or I have an appointment I can't break. You know what I mean? Like, but thank you so much for thinking about me.
Liz says, literally don't care about your boundaries. She's talking about others. Let's see. Hey, Donna, thanks for tuning in with us. Liz also says, what do you say to the women who need examples of what is being discussed? Some are in situations that may not know how to identify.
I would say initially that you have to really connect your thoughts to your emotions. Connect your thoughts to your emotions, and what are those thoughts and emotions making you do or not do? Because everything is a choice. Even not making a choice is a choice, right? We've talked about that in the past.
Right.
But what we don't like to do is identify how we really feel and what we really think without judgment. That's the first part right there. Is like, what is the truth? Forget about how you're supposed to feel or what you're supposed to think or what is and is not socially acceptable. Okay, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna say it.
You don't need to say anything.
There are some times where a mom is gonna be like, damn, I wish I ain't had these kids.
That's real.
That is a
That's
real
real.
Now there are mothers
conversation we gonna put this in the ear.
who will feel that, think
Yes.
that, and then Lord have mercy, the guilt that follows that thought. But here's the thing: you're not a bad person for thinking a non-conventional thought. You're not ungrateful for experiencing an emotion that has been brought on by your circumstances. What you choose to do next is in your control.
Yep.
Okay? So if you had that thought, think about, why did that come to mind? What's happening in my world that would even
Cross.
happen?
Yep.
Is it that there's too much yelling in the house? Is it that there's too much laundry? Is it that there's difficulties at school? Like, figure out, first of all, what is causing the environment. Deal with the environment. Do not browbeat yourself for your thoughts and emotions, because thoughts and emotions are there to teach us something. They're trying to get your attention. They're trying to tell you something that needs your attention. And when we push them down, and when we ignore them, and when we act like they don't matter,
They manifest themselves in new and different ways. They keep showing up in new and different ways.
What becomes your hurt, frustrations, your pain, your cries, your screams. Let me tell you, that reality is real.
I would like to place a challenge out there. Okay, we have given you all a lot of different ways to say no. Now, if you choose to accept it, be very careful with what I'm about to say. The best way to get rid of people who do not respect you or your boundaries and to remove those leeches is just to give an aggressive no. You can use all the tools in the toolbox. You can, and I have used these. I have used it all. But what I have started to do is, no, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not going to show up to that. No, I'm not going to do that. And what I have learned is,
And don't even get
and it really is like the first time I did it was a ripping the Band-Aid off, like, ooh, but I have to say no. Like, no, I'm not going to do it. Why? Because I'm not going to do it. But why? Because I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to sit there and stare, and we can stare at each other about a good 30 seconds, but I'm not going to do it. The reason why I get aggressive about my nose is because if that person decides they no longer wants to deal with me, then they do not need to be in my life. Sometimes we have too many people in our lives that are pulling on different parts of our souls and different parts of who we are. And we are nice enough to give them a reprieve and just kind of push them off in the corner. There are going to be some people that just have to go. And when we talk about saying no, I really want to challenge you. If these things don't work and people still pull on you, it is a deep breath moment, courageous moment. Here it goes. I may never see them again, but no.
And that goes for family too, y'all.
Especially.
Yep, I said it.
That's why I
Family
live 6 states away.
Look, you gotta do what you gotta do, because sometimes the worst culprit is the ones that are very close to you that you actually love in death. Okay? No. No.
And I want you to think about it for a second. If you've ever been responsible for small people, everybody's not a parent, but in some capacity, people have been in the company of small people, and by small people, I'm saying age 2. Okay, when you tell a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old no, what do they do? They bark. They ask again. They find a different way. They wait a minute. They come at it from a different approach.
Or they tell you no.
They might tell you no. Now, what you're teaching that small person is your boundaries. They are learning what they can and cannot get away with you. Now, they might try that same thing on somebody else and be 100% successful. So they're not going to change up their approach with the rest of their life. But when they see you, they go, oh, she's happy. Okay, I'm not. Now, the other people in your life are not children. Okay? If a 2 and 3-year-old can learn boundaries, these adults who've been on the planet much longer than 2 and 3 years are capable of learning boundaries. And I can just say from experience, having been a preschool teacher, I've had 20 people in my classroom who act a whole different way in my classroom than they did at home.
Because they know boundaries.
Because they know boundaries. You can teach boundaries, but you can't have a wishy-washy no. To Shamar's point, that wishy-washy no will do more damage than all the yeses in the world.
In the words of that great prophetess, Nene Leakes, I said what I said.
Y'all, okay. I think we are at our time today, but look, I hope you guys tuned in and really got, oh my God, an ear full of gems that really what we need to do is what it comes down to, just focus on self. And don't be afraid or guilty or shamed or
or talk out of your
no, exactly. Just don't allow anyone to take that away from you, whether it's a family, whether it's a friend, whether it's yourself. Don't allow anyone to take away what is your right as a person, which is simply to be your best God, divine, chosen self. That is what I'm learning this year. I'm learning that this is who God made me as. I can't change that. Why are you trying to?
Why would you want to?
Why did you want to?
Period.
Why do we do it to each other? What
To meet somebody else's expectations of us.
Stop.
That's how not to care for yourself.
Look, let's leave in 2021 all of that expectations in 2021. Let's leave we say, think as we think, because all that is causing us to be hurt. It's causing us to be frustrated. It's causing us to be depressed. It's causing us to be sick. Let's leave all that alone. And let's focus on what a happy, self-loving care, preservation, we go from self-care to self-preservation, right? Let's focus on what that looks like for 2022. This is the last season of the year, y'all. Let's do best. Let's do better, because now we know better. Once you know better, you have no excuse not to do better. We can say, you know what, I don't know how to say no. Yes, you do. You know how to open your mouth.
Sure do.
Don't be afraid to use your voice. God gave you a voice. Now, if he didn't, that might be a problem. You might have to write it. You might learn sign language. Put it on a chalkboard.
Actually, learn it in another
Or learn another language.
And
No.
And O.
No.
Okay, take
That
a
works.
Mhm.
Look. No voice. Okay. Look, I'm just being silly. All I'm saying is I hope you guys enjoyed our Project Business Movement chat.
This
You know,
is a good one,
This
y'all.
is every last, the fourth Saturday of the month that we do this. You can expect to see us again here November 27th. In the meantime, we do have an event coming up for our Autumn Cleanse, and I would like one of you guys to share that information.
So Autumn Cleanse, right? So we're looking forward to trying to really move in with intention into the remainder of 2021, and of course setting some amazing intentions for 2022. And of course with that comes detoxifying, right? We got to detox and cleanse our spirits, minds, soul, bodies, and spirits, refocus, reshift, realign, recalibrate, right? And as we get ready to move into this December, with that looks like into the end of the year, into the next year. So of course it's an event to bring us together in the spirit of bonfire, right? So if you've been to our bonfire event, you've been to purge, you've been to breathe. Now comes autumn cleanse, right? To experience that detoxifying, that refocusing, that realignment, that resetting, that refreshing, right? Of yourself, mind, body, and spirit. So we hope you'll meet us there. It's going to be an amazing space that we create, and we hope that you'll join us.
Yep, and that's going to be on Saturday, November 20th. So tickets are on sale currently, and there is an early bird special.
Take advantage, guys.
Take advantage.
Bring your buddy, best friend,
Look, be there.
and somebody that needs to be in that cleansing space with you.
Be there. Okay, I know I'm gonna be there. Be there. All right. So we will see you guys again in another month, 4 more weeks. November 27th. Oh my God, Thanksgiving is right around the corner. Yikes! So it's the end of the year, but we're gonna get through 2021, y'all.
We got this. We got
We got this.
All right, we're here for you.
Thank
Right along.
you so
All
much
right.
for joining us, guys.
Take care. Have a great rest of
All
your Saturday,
right,
guys.
bye-bye.
So do we